Hey everybody, Cookster here. Another video that involves some of this and some of this on this. That's priming and block sanding and lots of it. We still got a lot of sanding to do, a lot of priming to do. So stick around and hope you enjoy what you're seeing. I hope you're learning something. I hope you like what I'm doing. Be sure and like and subscribe and hit the bell and do all this stuff. I'm not getting a lot of comments, so if you like what you're seeing, give me a comment. If you don't, you can comment too, but be nice about it, because we don't want to be ugly around here. I know sanding and priming and block sanding is not sexy stuff, but it's got to be done, and you got to do it right, or your paint job's going to look like poo-poo. So anyway, stick around and let's get on to some priming and blocking and yada yada yada. And leave me a comment if you like what you see. I'm not getting a lot of comments, so just tell me what you think. Just be nice about it. So anyway, hold on to your ass, Fred. Let's go. Oh, that's a trick to teach you to comment. What movie was that from? Hold on, Snowman. All right, we're back for another round of block sanding. This time, I'm using my bigger Dura Block. This is a 320 sandpaper. So this whole blocking session, we'll call it, is 320. Where we're at last time is where I straightened the filler with 180 and then primed it. So this is my first, no. Did I block it with, yeah, I've already blocked it. So the steps I've taken so far, I straightened it, I put the body filler on it, primed it with 2K, which is what this is, blocked it with 180 and reprimed it. So that's where we are now. This is my second blocking. The first blocking with 320. Normally on bodywork panels that I've straightened, I block them once with 180 after I prime the first time, and then block them with 320 two more times just to make sure they're good and straight. You can call it first prime, second prime, third prime if you want to. I don't, but you can if you want. So, but on this, if I can get away with blocking it with 320 one time, I might. It just depends on how straight it comes out. And I can tell by sand scratches, by how straight it is, so on and so forth. My cowl, the cowl corners on both sides have already been blocked with 320 twice, a long time ago. So these are already blocked and straight. All I have to do is block the upper cowl up here and then block into this. And this will be good to go. Got to block the firewall. So basically it's just a lot of block sanding. So I'll let the camera run a little while. Block sanding is boring to watch. I've kind of already talked about how I block sand, so I don't know. Anyway, you crisscross, you sand across, and you sand. You don't sand in a line. That digs in and makes marks and digs in. You sand with this, like this with a block. Sometimes I use two hands. That's not because my arms are tired or hurting. It's because you got control. You got better control with two hands, especially when your panel starts to, get into a curve. You can work the block around the curve much better with two hands than you can trying to do it with one hand. I'll use two hands up here. I'll use one hand. This area here is flat. When I get over into here, there starts to be more crown, more curve. You probably can't see that. I may switch to a smaller block here that I've used. These other blocks I have, you saw in my other blocking videos, I got these little small, thinner ones. I like these for small stuff just because they're easy to get into. Anyway. Block sanding is not rocket science, but you got to know what you're doing, and you got to do it correctly and do it right, or you want to achieve the results you're after, which in the end, of course, is getting stuff straight. So let's just start block sanding. I'm probably going to do the old fast forward thing here in a few minutes, but for now, we'll just get started. I guess I could move the camera a little closer where you can see what's going on. It's hard to. Hold on a second. Well, I believe you can see a little bit better now. I'll try to show If anything of importance creeps up here, I'll try and show it, but for now, I'm just looking at this primer. You know, it's straight, no low spots, and I know I had a high spot or two in it that I hopefully I primed out, blocked out. So all I'm doing now is just kind of starting my initial pass here. This will kind of show me what I've got as far as highs and lows. Because if I have anything that's still high or low, it'll show up pretty fast. And the idea here is not to block all this primer off. We're past that stage now. Blocking it down and removing what's necessary is fine. But I'm definitely not trying to block it all off. I could put, what's it called? Any minute. I'm looking at the can, I can't see it from here. Hold on. Oops, look out, cord. Yeah, thank you. I could put guide code on this, but I really don't think I need to. I mean, I can tell and see what I'm doing. Some of y'all are going to argue and tell me I can't do a good job without guide code. That's fine. If you feel that way, I'm not going to argue with you. I'll show you in just a minute here what we're looking like here. After you block here just a few moments, it's pretty obvious to tell what you've got. If you know how to read the signs and know how to tell what the panel's telling you, you can read it pretty fast. Now, if this was a big door, you know, or a hood or something, that's different. I'm not blocking a big hood or a door. I'm blocking a small panel here. I have used guide code on hoods and doors and stuff, and yes, it does come in handy. Those big panels are hard to read sometimes without like guide code or something to help you. So yes, I had to use it. But on something like this, I really don't need it. Honestly, I don't. If you feel like you do, you use it. You know, you do you. Certainly nothing wrong with doing it. Especially if you're just learning, any help you can get is beneficial. So yeah, use it. That's fine. This initial area, I got a lot of fine tuning to do here up in the edges and the corners and stuff. Let me show you the basic of what we got here. Hold on. I would have vacuumed that dust up, but I'm in a hurry and I forgot, so, oh well. It's body work. It's dusty, it makes dust. Hold on. Alright, so let me see if you can see here. So, in the primer, that's the high spot I had earlier. I'm just starting to sand into it. So I'm trying my best to not sand that off anymore. Alright, see the primer here is nice and smooth. It doesn't have here we have some orange peel. See the dark spots in the orange peel? That's where when we're blocking, we're still a little bit low. This is what I'm talking about about reading the primer. You can see here I'm a little low. I don't need guide coat to tell me that. I can see it in the primer. I'm low. Over here, it's a little bit right there. Same deal. A little low, a little orange peely. Right here, same deal. So we look around, there's a little high spot starting to peek through. Most of this primer is nice and smooth, no orange peel. You know, here's where I haven't sanded yet. Here's where I'm, I wonder what that's for. Anyway, so, and this of course where I haven't sanded yet. So over in here, I'm pretty good. This is pretty straight. I've got to work some more into here. I've got to work around up in here. But that's what I'm talking about, reading the primer, reading the signs, reading the primer, however you want to call it. If I'd sprayed guide coat on here, I'd have the exact same thing I have right now. I'd have low spots in here, I'd have a low spot out here. It'd be completely sanded off, hopefully all that in through here. So anyway, I'm going to do some more sanding, just quit yapping, and just block sand away. Alright, just a quick overview. This is the second blocking of the firewall. Well, actually the first blocking for the bones of the firewall. Basically everything that I didn't put filler on. You can see all the high spots, the little ripples, the wrinkles. A couple spots I had to add some filler. There's a low spot there. Found some low spots up here in the upper cowl. Filled a couple of them. As I mentioned before, I'm not trying to fill every wrinkle and ripple in this factory sheet metal. That's not my goal on this truck. Now you can, it's not a show truck. You can argue with me and tell me, I'm doing a lot of work for not a show truck, but hey, it's my opinion. So anyway, I'm about to reprime the firewall on the dash. Same deal. I've got it blocked down. Inside the dash is good to go as far as blocking goes. No more blocking is needed in here. I do need to block the upper side of the dash because I had another ripple or two I blocked out, so I need to reprime that and reblock it just to make sure. I have blocked the outside of my cowls now, so they're good and smooth. I also went back and I'm starting to prepare to prime the rest of the cab. The door jambs basically. So I've sanded all this, sanded all that. I've got quite a bit of rust pinholes here, if you can see them. Yeah, you can see that. So what I'm going to wind up doing is shoot another coat of epoxy primer on here. And while it's fresh, within that, like I say, that 3-day window, I'm going to wipe filler on all these pinholes. That's too much to try to block out. It could be done, but it'd take forever. Just wipe some filler in there. Got a little low spot, a couple little dings right there. I'm going to fill those. Same thing up here, rust pinholes. So there's a lot of work just in getting this bottom of this rocker panel straightened out. And then of course I got to prime the rest of the jams and block them. Same thing on the driver's side, although there's not as many rust pits over here. There's a few. A little bit, one or two up here in the front. You probably can't see them. And I got quite a bit of rust pits right here, if you can see those. Yeah, those show up. So again, I'm going to shoot a fresh coat of epoxy primer over here. This epoxy primer here is, I'll leave 2, 3, 5, something, number of years old. So I've already sanded it. I'm going to reshoot a fresh coat, and then I'll be putting my filler over that. Same thing, I sanded this jam. sanded the front of the jam A-pillar. The only thing I really haven't done now is the tops of the jams, and I'll get those at some point soon. Again, blocked this side of the cowl. It's very important. I know I mentioned a couple times. It's very important, depending, of course, on what kind of paint job you're trying to do. You got to sand every nook and cranny. If you don't, you're going to get overspray that builds up from the primer, and you'll definitely be able to see it in your paint job. Now, if you're just doing a throw it together paint job and they don't really care, then that's fine. But if you're doing trying to do a really super slick, the best paint job you can do type of paint job like this one's going to be, you've got to sand every little nook and cranny. Because if you don't, you're going to see it when you paint it. If it's in some hidden away spot, then maybe you don't. But people like me who can't help themselves sand it anyway. But every little square inch here that you see in gray has been sanded, either with a block and or by hand, or both. Most of it, both. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble again, so I guess I'll set the camera up and let's shoot some more primer. Not sure if I mentioned it before. For primer, this is 2K primer. That means you got the primer and the hardener. I use the Omni. It's MP282. It's gray. This is PPG stuff. I've used PPG of one type or another, Deltron or stuff. I've used that stuff for, golly, 30 years, off and on. My local paint distributor, he sells Omni now. I used to sell the other PPG, the Deltron and stuff like that, but he sells this now, and I still find with me, so that's what I use. The hardener is 283 hardener. Anyway, that's in case you're wondering. I use the Omni hardener or primer. This mix is 4-to-1 if you want to run it straight, which is like for filling. What they call it, filler primer. That's a better name for it. I can't think of it. You can reduce it down to 4-to-1, like I said, to 1 if you're shooting like your last prime. Like the last prime you shoot before you wet sand it, you can shoot that reduced. It won't overspray so bad and go on so thick. If you shoot this stuff straight, it goes on thick and it builds fast. Now it may not build as fast as, say, what's that stuff called, slick sand, and then Evercoat's got feather fill. It may not build quite as fast and as thick as that stuff, but it will build fast if you shoot it full thickness. And I hate shooting primer really thick anyway. I've never really liked it. It goes back to my lacquer primer days. That stuff would crack if you put it on really thick. Anyway, that's just a hang up of mine, from way back. Anyway, that's the primer I'm using. So we'll get some mixed up and we'll start spraying. I did buy me a new spray gun. This is a Iwata. No, this is a primer gun. It's I don't remember. Hang on. It's called an Aero Pro. Got it off of Amazon. It's a $100 gun, something like that. You can buy these guns a whole lot cheaper than this. You can buy them a whole lot more expensive too. I tried to buy one, that was a decent price. Those $400 and $500, $600 Iwata guns, I haven't invested in one of those yet, and I don't know if I ever will. Just doing this for a hobby. I don't need a production type spray gun like I did back when I did this for a living every day. I did buy an Iwata medium priced gun. I forget the name of it for painting. It's put away, so I can't get my hands on it right now, but we're priming anyway. So anyway, that's it. Let me get to it. One other thing I forgot to mention in this primer gun, this has a 2.0 tip. If you don't know about spray guns, that's a really big tip. The orifice size for the material to come through. The stick primer has to have a bigger tip, bigger air cap, bigger fluid nozzle to let the thick material come through there. So anyway, that's, in case you're wondering, that's that. Stop it. A lesson I'm having to learn about these HVLP guns. HVLP is high volume, low pressure. When they say high volume, they mean it. These things put out a lot of material. You know, I sprayed with a conventional gun 40 years. I've only just now started using these things. In fact, I haven't painted with one yet at all. I'm kind of scared to. My first paint job with one of these is going to be, I'm going to be worried. Now, these things do have, I got the fluid nozzle, the fluid adjustment, all, you know, wide open. I may need to back the fluid nozzle off. I may need to back the fluid off a little bit to not put it on so thick until I get used to it. With the old days, with the old primer and the old guns, even this primer with my other guns, you could, you know, kind of lay that stuff on there a couple passes and it wouldn't run. I just ran the snot out of this dash in here. You saw me hit over it and hit over it again. That's a bad idea. These things put out a lot of primer, so I've got to learn. I just got to learn to use these, and priming's a good way to do it. That's for sure. Like I said, I only put one coat across the front of this dash, and I don't see any runs in it. I'm going to put one more coat on the dash here, and then whatever I have left over primer-wise, I'm going to prime around some of my other areas that need to be primed. I'm airing this dash good. I ain't moving the camera for that, but it'll block out. It's primer, thank God. But I did run the snot out of it. But anyway, you got to learn. Put a coat of primer on there, let it and stop and let it flash, and then prime it again. I know to do that. I'm just, you know, stuck in my old ways, and I got to learn. I got to learn some new ways here, and that's fine. Anyway, I'm gonna cut the camera off. You see me prime the coat. I'm just gonna do the rest of this priming here, and then we'll be on to some more block sanding. Oh boy, I can't wait. By the way, I'll let you look in on a little secret. I kind of like block sanding. Not the effort it takes and the sanding what the results you get. I mentioned in another video how good this stuff feels when you get it primed and slicked, sanded and slicked down. It's I use the word sexy, and I'm sorry to use a word like that, but it's a sexy feeling. That slick ass primer, it's just so nice. Anyway, yeah. And the second part of the block sanding thing is taking something that you've straightened and welded on and repaired, it was beat to hell or rusty or non-existent or whatever, and straightened it and got it smooth, and now it's like this. That's a hell of a feeling. That's a good feeling, believe me. If you like doing stuff yourself and a feeling of accomplishment, yeah buddy.